Lights, camera, action. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's D with the T. And today we have another creative chat. Today, this creative chat I'm excited about. I actually say I'm excited about all creative chats. I gotta find another phrase there, but hey. What can I say? I'm excited about chatting about creativity, right? Today, this creative chat is going to be about photography. As I began my creative journey, when I decided to kind of start doing freelance work, I was doing graphic design, but quickly, like just a few months into it, I started to pick up the camera and playing around with photography. Because I knew I had an eye and I would be able to kind of frame things and see things beforehand and say, ooh, that would be a dope shot. And so I just picked up the camera, started studying my craft. I really enjoyed it. I've stopped taking on freelance photography clients because I felt like the Lord was kind of leading me to more so build my personal brand and moving in the direction of passion projects and things that I had kind of set on the shelf. But it's still one of the things I love. It's something that I continue to do and add into my work. Today, I wanted to talk about 10 tips that will help you as a photographer get the best out of your photo shoot. I'm not going to really talk about a lot of technical things, some things, but I'm not going to go into ISO and shutter speed and all that kind of stuff. But I think these things really make a world of a difference when you're trying to make sure that you leave a photo shoot or you leave a session with the best photos, with the dopest photos, and you've pulled the best out of your model, you've pulled the best out of your subject, and you got the job done. It is terrible. I have left photo shoots before and like, oh man, and thought that I did all this stuff to make it happen and didn't have no pictures that I could use. That's terrible. Thank God those were my passion project photo shoots or those were personal projects. Now hear me, I don't claim to be the most professional pro photographer at all. However, these are things that have worked for me. Hopefully it's something that you can use too. Number one, be organized. Pre-plan your shoot. Pre-plan what's going to go down at this photo shoot. Whether it's scouting out your locations beforehand and knowing where you're going to shoot, whether it's in studio or outside, making sure that you look up poses, like once you talk to your client or once you have the idea for your passion project, whatever the session is going to consist of, look through Pinterest and look at different poses and different ideas of things that you want to try. Write that stuff down. Event photography, make a shot list. Like, I know I have to get this type of shot, I have to get this type of shot. Whatever type of session it is, make sure you pre-plan. It's going to save you so that on that day you can really focus on the task at hand and you are not trying to figure out like, okay, let's see. You just don't want to waste your time or the subject of the shoot. You don't want to waste your time. So have everything mapped out beforehand. Make sure you have all the tools and resources. Make a checklist of what you need. Now, this sounds like really like preliminary and just elementary, but I'm pretty sure if you're watching this and you're a photographer, you have been that photographer that left your light meter or you left your batteries. You forgot to charge your battery or you thought you packed one of them and in the middle of the shoot a battery go out and you're like, oh Lord, SD cards. Make sure you're prepared. Make sure you have all the tools and resources that you need. Make sure everything's mapped out. You have your checklist. You have your shot list. You know where you're going to be shooting. And one thing that I will say about being prepared is be on time. Make sure that you're on time to the photo shoot. When you said we're going to start shooting, make sure you're ready to go. Your client is ready to go and that you are ready to shoot. Be prepared. It will save you a world of trouble. Number two, set the atmosphere. Make sure, y'all. Now my video is a vibe, ain't it? Like, you got my aesthetic. I got the mixed prints. I got the pinks. And I got the lights. And it's like a whole vibe. It's like a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe, right? Set. Create the atmosphere that you want for the photo shoot. Whether it's within, let's say you're in studio, make sure that aesthetically things are together and clean. Make sure that, you know, I don't know if you can have some refreshments. You don't have to spend your cash if you don't want to, but I'm just saying, like, make it a comfortable environment. Let's make sure that the temperature is at a comfortable place for the person, that it's not ultra hot. Sometimes you can't control that. Let's say you're outside, maybe have some cold water for your client, or maybe have one of those little handheld fans that you can kind of cool them down with. Make sure that you set the atmosphere. One way that I find that gets people comfortable is having a playlist. Some type of playlist that's going to like really bring out the vibes of whatever we want them to, whatever vibe we want to give off in the photo shoot. Whatever your client's comfortable with, create the mood before pictures, the camera, clients even come into play. Set the atmosphere for what type of shoot or session you're gonna have. Let's say you're doing a fashion shoot. Put on some of that music that they turn on when you go into the store and you're gonna buy up something. You know, they have that they have that shopping music. Play some of that so that it creates that like fashion vibe while you're on the set. Lighting sometimes helps. It's nothing worse than having a dry photo session. Like, nobody wants to awkwardly stand around in silence. There are things that you can do to control the vibe. Next one is find your lighting. So lighting is different. I'm not going to technically go into lighting, but whether it's your natural light outside that you're using, or natural light from the windows, or you actually have a light setup where you have different light bars and different things, Godox light, whatever, make sure before you even pick up the camera that you see visually out of your own eyes how the light plays with where your subject is. Take a moment and look at the light and where the light is coming from, where your person is located, your subject's located. Sometimes I'm like setting up my lights and then I'm like looking at them as I'm setting it up and they like looking like, what? I'm like, oh, I have to get my lighting right. I'm looking at where the light is hitting you. They're like, oh, okay. She ain't being a creeper. So just make sure that you check your lighting with your natural eye before you even pick up a camera. See where the lighting's playing, see where shadows are playing, and that will help you before you even get to shooting. Now this next one is one of the most important. This tip, I've seen people like truly bring out the best, like model, like, ooh, Fashion Week, Heidi Klum came out with these subjects, okay? Make sure that your subject or client is comfortable. Make sure they're comfortable. Sometimes people have never done this before. Sometimes people are not very confident. So setting the vibe of the room, that's something that obviously we talked about that will help. But make sure that you let them know that trust me, I got you. I'm gonna make sure that you look your best, okay? So we're gonna work this together. Make them feel comfortable. One thing that goes a long way with making clients and your subject feel comfortable is laughter. Laughing. Sometimes I will just crack a little joke, or maybe their spouse or their friend is there. I'll say, can you know how to make them laugh? 9 times out of 10 they're gonna say yeah, and then let them like make them laugh, like create that environment of just a safe, healthy, fun atmosphere. I don't deem myself as no comedian or anything. I can be silly, but I have been on sets where the friend or the husband was there and he was like, I'm not that type of person. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to make you laugh, and I just like, all right, a little. And they're like, what? And it like kind of loosened them up. So being silly and stuff, making sure that you create the environment where laughter can evolve. Like I said before, music can definitely help in this. Like sometimes I'll like vibe out, like, ooh, I'm just gonna let's get the jitters out. Sometimes that helps. Some people like, no, I don't dance. But you just being that person in the room, sometimes that helps. Another thing that helps, my sister actually brought this idea up to me, and I didn't realize this is something that I do. Be a hype man, okay? Now y'all know a hype man, somebody that's gonna hype you up, like, ooh, girl, you looking good. Ooh, Sir, you came down. Sir, you came down with the shoes today. Like, being that hype person before they even step in front of the camera, letting them know, wow, you look so nice. Okay, I'm feeling this with the backdrop we have set up and what you have. Girl, you're going to rock this shoot. That gives them confidence to know, like, okay, well, maybe I can do this. And even as you're shooting, when you see a nice shot, like, ooh, girl, these are beautiful. Like, whoo, okay, that's pretty. I noticed that talk really does help somebody feel comfortable, especially for those that don't do this on a regular. And the last thing that helps clients in my experience, that helps clients feel comfortable is posing. If being vulnerable enough to demonstrate the pose that you want the client to give you, that actually really, really helps. So I'm a person, if I tell you to like, play coy. So just kind of, just lightly grab and tilt your head up a little bit and then just smize, like, whatever. I don't know how I looked when I did that, but y'all get the point. Like, if you want to show the client how to pose, sometimes that can feel weird and awkward. But I just kind of guide them like, okay, this might feel strange, but it's going to look nice. And I guarantee you're gonna get some good shots. You can also show them like from your phone. Sometimes I get just like right before my shoot, I'll put like different poses that I've pre-planned. I'll take those and I'll actually show them on the phone. Let's try this. And then kind of guide them to how to do it. Number 5, improvise where needed. Like, sometimes, I'm telling y'all, things will go wrong on a photo shoot. People will forget things. You will forget things. Things happen. Things break on photo shoots. Lights break. So, just one of the last photo shoots I did, the client, she did not have her shoes because she just needed to get like she thought she just needs to get certain shots, but there was a particular shot we wanted to get, but I needed her to be taller. She didn't have shoes. And so I was like, we got to find something for her to stand on. Now, within reason, she was safe, but we had this very sturdy, like, foldable table. And I had one of the assistants stand on it first. Just to make sure, okay, let's make sure ain't no accident. And then she had some tennis shoes. Of course, it didn't match her outfit, but I wasn't going to get that. I just needed her to be taller. So I had her actually put her tennis shoes on to lift her up a little bit and then stand on top of that low foldable table. And it really helped us get the shot. But I had to improvise because we didn't have shoes. She wasn't tall enough to get the shot that we needed. Definitely improvise where needed. There was another time where we had a limited light kit, so we didn't have as many lights as I needed. But these photos, this person needed like that day. And so it was like kind of like a rush thing that we had to do. What can I do? And so I was like, hey, the dude was with her. I said, hey, sir, can we use your phone? Do you mind just helping out real quick? He was like, sure. So we turned on his flashlight on his phone and I told him to hold his hand out, like a little bit close to her face, but close enough to not getting the shot. And that added that just a little bit more light to that very dark shadow that she had. And boom, pictures came out bomb. So you have to make sure that you have your thinking cap on and improvise where needed. Now this one, number 6. This one is a pet peeve for me. For even super dope professional people that put out great work. Y'all, bring them people off that background. Whether it's a wall or a backdrop, muslin paper, whatever. Bring them people off that wall. I hate that. I cannot stand when photographers have people and they have a nice shot, but they like back up. You can see like they're so close to the wall. Create definition. So pull your person or your subject up from the wall, from the backdrop, so that it creates definition. Like right now, there's good depth of field where I'm sitting. You can basically see the difference between me and the background. Like there is definition. In camera work, and I'm not going into all the technicality of it, but there are things you can do in camera to do that. The lighting helps with that. But one easy thing is just pull that bad boy, pull that person off the wall. Don't have them on the wall. Why do y'all have them so close to the wall? That is a pet peeve of mine. I'm telling you, I have seen some dope photographers, but they got their person just way on the wall. Now, in some instances, you want them on the wall because of a certain type of shot you're getting. Like, I always have my go-to shot that I have to do with everybody, and people might think it's played out, but I don't care. When you have them on the wall and they're kind of like literally on the wall, and I shoot them from this way, I'll put something in there to show you. I love that shot. That makes sense. Or the tell as old as time shot, where they have their foot on the back on the wall. Like, okay, that makes sense because you're using the wall as a prop. But if that wall or that backdrop ain't no prop, then get them off that wall and create some definition around them so you can tell the difference. You can tell that there is difference between them and the background. Okay, guys, y'all see that? Like, you can see it. But if I was just like all the way hard down, like sitting on it, like hard down sitting on it, like that's tacky. Like, this the wall and I'm like this. Tacky. Make some definition between us. I don't know why I did that, but I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. It makes a world of difference, and it really like ups up the pro level look to your photos when you do that. So definitely create some depth of field, create some definition, and pull them people off that wall. Thank you. Number 7. Create framing. When I say create framing, like look at your surroundings. It draws your eyes in. Framing. Sometimes there might be like, maybe there's a nice archway where you are. Just make sure you frame up, you know, play with your positive and negative space around you or around the subject, and make sure that you focus on how to frame them. Another thing kind of along the same concept is the rule of thirds. So rule of thirds is where you create a grid in your frame, and then at the point of intersection where those lines meet, that's where you place your subject. So instead of me being here and talking to y'all, this don't look as good as this. Me being over here and talking to y'all just looks better. So the rule of thirds is like an elementary thing that people are taught, but I'm telling you, it's something that will up your shot. Play around with the rule of thirds, and sometimes it makes sense for you to put somebody dead set in the center. It depends on what's going on in the shot, but just play around with that and play around with your framing so that you can get your best shot. All right, number 8, work those angles. This is kind of like a twofold one. One is, don't stay in the same place. Wherever you have your subject, you do not just stay there as a photographer and just keep shooting from here. Okay, next. No. You move around. And I used to get made fun of all the time by my sister because she was like, girl, one thing I know is you gonna get that shot. Baby, I would be crouched on the ground. Sometimes you got to get low. There have been times where I kind of like laid on the ground to the side. That is something that you have to do. Like, don't be confined to one spot. Make sure that you move around. Like, your subject might be in one place, but work your angles. Also work their angles. So you might move, they might still be in one spot, but you move here. But then tell them, okay, angle your body just a little bit. Sometimes those small twists, or, okay, you're looking at me, now look off to the side with your eyes. Sometimes that'll just make the picture completely different. So I'm looking straight on. So looking straight on, I'm your subject. So work my angle, or I twist my head a little, or tilt my head up just a bit. It might make your picture all the better. Or maybe I'm straightforward as your subject. You're taking a picture of me. Y'all take a picture of me, okay? Take a picture of me. But then maybe just twisting my body just a bit and twisting my head might make the shot better. I don't know. I'm making this up, but I'm trying to give you an example. Do y'all understand? So work your angles as a photographer. You move about a little bit, crouch down a little bit, maybe you stand above them a little bit, do what you gotta do to get the shot. At the same time, work their angles. So the next one, be intentional with your shots. Sometimes as a photographer, you can just shoot, and they have 1,000 pictures and have to go through all 1,000 pictures. I find that being intentional really helps. What I mean by being intentional, what I mean is, yes, like I talked before, being prepared, have your shot list, especially if you're doing like event photography or wedding photography, have the shot list so you don't miss anything, right? You can apply that to portrait photography and all that too, lifestyle, food, whatever. But another way that you can be intentional is once you shoot, tell it to rest for a moment. Say, okay, just relax. And then I kind of look just to make sure I got that shot real quick. You don't have to take a long time to like go through every picture, but just as long as you've seen within that set, okay, I have a few. And if I see somewhere I'm like, I don't know if that is gonna work, I'll say, okay, let's try that one more time. But now let me have you tilt your head up a little bit more and smile. So being intentional about making sure you know exactly what you're shooting, and then reviewing that as you go, that really helps. It's going to save you so much. Another part of being intentional is kind of looking at your background and looking at your subject. Sometimes you'll have an assistant to help, but sometimes you don't have that. So just make sure that as you are snapping away, be intentional to know, oh, your necklace is crooked, or oh, let's swoop your hair back a little bit, or oh, your shirt came unbuttoned. So definitely make sure that you are intentional about what your surroundings and what's happening with your client. Make sure you're intentional about what you want to get and grab that. And the last one, look for candids. Look for candids in the in-between conversations between outfits, in the moments where you're creating laughter or the spouse is talking to them about something. Like, get those candids as they're like just naturally like flipping their hair back. That could be the best picture. In between, boom, it could be a really nice shot. All right, so that was the video for today. Hope you can take something from what I said to help you to get a better shot, to get better photos. You don't want your photos to be dry and awkward. You don't want that. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some photos that I've taken over the years, just kind of like in a little B-roll at the end, just to show some of the stuff I'm proud of. Yeah, to my own horn, I don't care. It's my video, right? Okay, yes. So thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to leave a comment, like the video, share. I would love it if you subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell so you can be notified when I drop my next video. All right, to the next video, guys. Bye.